will survive.
It is a very good morning to you all, and welcome to the Breakfast Club right here on Asake. My name is Fungai Mawada. Zimbabwean film has certainly grown in the last decade, with a lot of films and short films being produced across the country. This year, however, the country was stunned to know that there was a Ndebele Sci-Fi film produced right here in Bulawayo. And to help me talk more about that film called The Signal, I'm joined in studio this morning by Tawanda, Denga and Domimanya, who star in that particular film. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the Breakfast Club.
Hello.
Good morning, Fungai.
Okay, first of all, congratulations. How are you guys feeling?
Yo.
Yeah.
My guy.
That's how we've been.
Yeah, we're
Wow.
really happy.
We're overwhelmed.
Wow, amazing. So obviously the synopsis behind the film, it's about a deadly sound transmitted from space known as the signal that corrupts the minds of all who hear it, turning them into soulless demons under its control. So when I first heard about it, I think I saw a poster on your Twitter space and I was like, sci-fi. Bulawayo, how is that even possible? Okay, so maybe let's just backtrack on that. What is the film about? What's the theme behind the film?
You want to answer that?
Well, okay, basically, like what you said from the synopsis of a deadly single that comes from space, and it corrupts the minds of those that hear it, where they end up becoming demons, or they end up becoming possessed. They lose control and they're controlled by that signal. So basically, that's what it's all about. The rest you just have to watch. Whether
Yes.
you watch the premiere, the film.
Okay, so what's been the experience like with just this short, obviously just the clip, the trailer rather has been released so far, it's not the actual film. What's been like the how have people been taking it?
To be very honest, I think we would have a 90% good feedback and probably, like a 10%. Some people saying, the first Ndebele Nigerian sci-fi, comparing us to the old Nigerian movies and things like that. But so far the response has been amazing. People are really expecting something amazing from the trailer. So they're expecting more from the short film. So we hope we do deliver. We think we're going to deliver, and we know that people are going to love it.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. And how did you guys get involved in the movie? Maybe your experience, and then Tawanda can share his.
All right. Basically, well, Daniel and I, we've been working for quite some time, like since 2016. By his short films and stuff like that. So basically, he started contacting us in June, July last year.
Last year. Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey, do me like I want to do a short film, sci-fi in Ndebele." And I'm like, in Ndebele? All right, cool. I'm game. Like I accept the challenge. I accepted the challenge because the thing is, as an actor, you get to explore a new character and create a new character, introduce a new character to all, become one, introduce them to something that is never, or some person that has never existed, but is still relatable, to people, and enjoying the character in such a way you know where they're coming from, where they're going. It's like driving a car. Like when you get inside the car, you're supposed to know, okay, I'm starting from point A to point B. Yeah. So I was super, super excited, especially when he mentioned like sci-fi. I'm like, dude, let's do this. I'm ready, man. Like I'm ready to,
Yes, I'm ready to get on. Yeah. And for you, Tawanda, how did you get involved?
I got involved. I think just same thing with Dumie. Started working with Daniel from way back, and he gave me a call, and he's like, "Yo, dude, I need you to be the protagonist in this thing." And I was like, "Hey, bro, 100, let's do it." And when he said that, then he's like, he called me, I think it was 2 hours later. Then he's like, "Oh, I forgot to mention something. Mm-hmm. We're going to do the movie in Ndebele." I'm like, "But the script is in English." I'm like, "But the script is in English. How are we going to do that?" Because, being an actor that has been so used to speaking in English, I'm not fluent in. It's a sad thing, but I'm not fluent in any vernacular language per se, because, growing up in a very cosmopolitan city like Bulawayo, and going to A schools and things like that, you're always engaging with people where you then become so used to speaking in English. So now speaking in Ndebele, it's not that you don't know the language. It's just that you get a bit of a shock that it scares you to say, I don't think I'm that fluent enough to articulate, to articulate it properly. So the experience for me, I think has taught me that if you put your mind to something, you can definitely achieve it. And the fact that it is something that had never been done. We don't have an Ndebele Sci-Fi movie ever done. So that in itself makes it a historical moment for Bulawayo, for Zimbabwe, and for the world, because nothing of this nature has ever come out from Zimbabwe.
Absolutely, it's huge. And for me, even the fact that it's in Ndebele, because when I saw it, I was like, sci-fi, first of all, because for me, sci-fi it's always like an anglicized thing, you know what I mean? Even if you watch like Star Wars or whatever, it's always in English. I've never heard of one in Setswana either. No, first time in vernacular, generally. So it's something huge. And congratulations to you guys for that. Whose idea was that, though, to put it in Ndebele?
Danny, Danny, what I like about Danny, like he's so overwhelmed with the urge of telling African stories. So you try by all means to make a story relatable to specifically for the African audience. He and whether it be culture-wise or the set design or the language, he will just make sure that element is in the film.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I took this quote from Twitter because I found it very interesting. This was by Vusam Kaid. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. So he says the only problem with these kind of people is that the production will be made in Bulawayo and they'll find any excuse not to watch it. If it was in Zulu, Xhosa, or Kiswahili film, they're going to share and watch. The sad truth is that this usually comes from our Shona-speaking brothers and sisters. People must grow up in J. If you have a problem with this tweet, hashtag whatever. Yes, that. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys saw the tweet or anything, but
actually, I didn't.
Okay, I did obviously because I was investigating and researching, and I found that there's a lot of kickback to the fact that it's in Ndebele.
Yeah, you are having a lot of kickback.
Yeah. Yes.
I think the first time when we put the poster up, someone commented, I think it was on Daniel Lasker's post, and the person said, why are you calling it Ndebele Sci-Fi and not just Zimbabwe Sci-Fi? I'm like, but it was stated in that post. First ever Zimbabwean Ndebele Sci-Fi. So you need to understand. I think Vusa is right in the sense of saying, look, don't get locked in the fact that Ndebele is getting shine. You get my point? It was decided and we want Ndebele to shine because we are Bulawayo people. We grew up in Bulawayo. We speak predominantly Ndebele in Bulawayo, right? So why are people having a problem with the fact that we're calling it first ever Zimbabwean? We're not running away from that fact.
Yeah.
It's a Zimbabwean Ndebele. It's not a South African Ndebele because there's Ndebele in South Africa. There's Ndebele in Swaziland, but there's a Ndebele crop of people in Bulawayo. So it's coming from here. So we want to be identified with that. But at the same time, what people are not understanding is that we are actually promoting our culture as Zimbabweans to show how much diversity actually is in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe just doesn't belong to Shona people. There's Tonga people. There is Nyanja people. There's all these Kalanga. There's so many. And once we start celebrating each other like that, and we understand that we are a country that is diverse in its nature, and we celebrate each other, let's celebrate this film, because this film is a depiction of Zimbabwean culture. I'm a Shona, Tawanda Denga, right? And I saw a couple of kickbacks about that. You know what I'm saying? Say that, okay, you're saying this is an Ndebele film, but your main character is a Shona guy. But Nkulelenga, I grew up in Bulawayo. So
I feel you're paying 100%.
Yeah, in Bulawayo. And so, and it's sad for us Shonas that grew up in Bulawayo, you got this thing where your Harare people will not accept you because Ndebele, you know what I mean? And then your Ndebele people will not accept you. They'll be like, Ishona Lela. So you find it very difficult. And I don't think Daniel picked me because I'm Shona.
It was based on your skill.
It was based on my acting skill. That's why he picked me. He didn't pick me because he's like, oh, this guy is Shona, or this guy grew up in Tarana. I didn't grow up in Tarana. I don't even know how to speak Shona fluent. I turned down Shona roles where I was supposed to speak in fluent Shona because I couldn't speak the language. But now, because I've seen how important it is, I want to do a film where I'm going to speak in Tonga, challenge myself. You know what I mean? This celebrates the cultures that are in Zimbabwe.
Interesting. You want to add on to that, Dumie?
He's basically said everything. But what I can say is, like, as Zimbabweans, I think from the kickbacks from social media, that's when I learned that this country, sometimes Awula unity, there's no love. Like, we should learn to accept each other and love each other. I think, because look, what's currently happening in SA, it's a sign that for us to be accepted that side, we have to accept each other in Zimbabwe first, love each other, unity, and then obviously it will overlap to the neighboring countries because we're African brothers at the end of the day. That's it. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Yes, down with the haters. We don't appreciate it.
You know what? It's the industry.
It's the industry,
You always get haters. You just have to have tough skin to actually go through the industry.
All right, so you guys are actors, you're producers in your own right as well. And, you know, what holds our film industry from growing? If you think about it, because if someone were to mention films from Zimbabwe, people would always think of Yellow Card, Neria, things from Kudala. And of course, there is the Euro Film Festival that tried a bit, you know, to highlight local films and the industry. But what's holding our industry from growing, essentially? Because, you know, like for me, for instance, Bulawayo is a cultural hub of arts and entertainment and the likes, but we can't really say there's a studio where people shoot films and short stories and the likes. But why haven't we developed in that regard?
I think basically, first of all, it's the way we treat ourselves. Like, you know, the saying which says, dress to be addressed. So I feel like a lot of film producers were treating filmmaking as a hobby instead of a business. So now us treating it as a hobby and the way we're presenting ourselves out there, especially to the corporate world who are supposed to support us, they won't even take us seriously because they'll be like, what we're taking filmmaking like as if we're shooting TikTok video or YouTube video. Because the way I approach filmmaking, I don't just approach it with, you know, I'm gonna shoot for Zimbabwe. I'm gonna shoot, even if I'm just performing, I'm performing for the international market.
That's right.
You check out. So already my mindset is already up there. And the good thing about like what we did with the Signal, Tawanda, Natasha Dlamini, awesome people I've shared the screen with. The moment we achieved that level, what you guys, here we're performing not just for Zimbabwe, but for the international market. We vibrated at the same level together. I feel like the energy that was there was the same energy or it was just that same vibe when God was like, let there be light. Okay. You check out. So yeah, I think we should stop treating filmmaking as a hobby and start treating it as a business. And another thing is, also we should also invest ourselves as film producers. Like, go on YouTube. Don't just go on YouTube to watch music videos. Like, even when I was at varsity, as much as we were having lectures, like after lectures, I'm going to YouTube, how to direct a scene, how to set dress a scene, etc. So that has been my life since 2014, even up to until now. I'm still on YouTube. Master classes, even if you get to do film school, that will be an advantage. But yeah, just brace yourself for a lot of reading, because mostly you have to dwell on the practical side of things, because filmmaking is more practical. So yeah, I really wish that us as filmmakers we stop treating filmmaking as a hobby and start treating it as a business. That way we shift the whole dynamic of everyone's mentality. And hopefully Zimbabwean corporates will start investing in the industry as well, and start, because I think it's about time we do things properly. Properly. We should stop doing this no budget things, because guy. So yeah, Tawanda, I think you can also add.
You know what I think. Just to add on, I think that is one of the biggest problems. The fact that we are having a lot of people that are trying, but not actually executing. right? So you have people who say, okay, guys, let's shoot a film, but people have not investigated and have not invested themselves in saying, okay, what does it take to actually do a short film, right? Like this short film, for instance, yesterday I was having an interview and one of the people asked me like, yo, your guys' costumes, right, were just so amazing. Who came up with the costumes? And we're like, once again, it was the director, Daniel. So before we started shooting, we went out shopping for those things, for those costumes. We went out shopping. We got dressed. We got, fitted so that the thing was perfect for that particular character. But in most cases, these days we'll just say, okay, wardrobe. Hey, Jay, let's shoot again. Suit out. Suit white, clean, whatever, you know what I mean? Come with that suit, because of low budget things. But instead of saying, right, we want to produce a product. Because once we understand that film is a product that is bought, right? Make sure your product is sellable. Right now, the signal is selling because it's a product that was packaged a certain way, right? And because of that, now you're having people gravitating towards it and wanting to get the product. So once we understand that right now, this is something I'm going to say, and I might get a lot of lashback from it, but I'll just say it anyway, because I know site.
You're getting it already anyway.
Yeah.
It's
So there's freedom of speech. So one of the things is that I really feel like we have this mentality of thinking that Zimbabwe has an entertainment industry. It doesn't. There's no entertainment industry. There's a sector, for lack of a better word. Something that, I once gave an example to say that there's a lot of vendors. We do not have manufacturers. So you got everyone being a vendor. Someone is selling tomatoes, someone is selling what, but we do not have an industry where things are being produced, where it can actually contribute money to the country itself. But do we have the potential to create an entertainment industry within Zimbabwe? Yes, we got so much. We got the landscapes, we got, we got talent, we got everything. You know what I mean? But then it's because, number one, the producers of the things are not planning their products properly. And then the corporates are also not seeing the gap that is there for them to actually invest money and make more money out of investing into these film projects. Because you'll see a movie like, let's say Fast and Furious, for instance. I'll give an example of that one. Vin Diesel, right at the beginning of Fast and Furious, I think it was 7, is holding a Coca-Cola bottle. Do you know how much Coca-Cola invested in that? Because that movie, I think, was, it costed, how much is it? 100 and something million US dollars to create the film. Do you know how much they made after that? They made close to 1.5 billion. So whatever investment has been put in is definitely going to come back. If people understand how to the stages of filmmaking. So if you understand that you're going to make a film, you're investing 50 million. The agenda from that point is that we need to make 500 million. That's how people should think. It's a business. It's not a hobby. And I totally agree with Dumie, because we can't keep treating this thing like a hobby and then expect to get paid like it's a business.
Oh yeah, absolutely true. All right, so my last question. Obviously, there are a lot of aspiring actors or actresses who have seen the trailer for The Signal, who have seen your works throughout the years, Veza and everything else in between. What advice would you give to them, particularly looking at the Zimbabwe we're in and the industry that we're in? Well, you said there's no industry right now. Yeah. The sector, yes, that we're in. What advice would you give to them?
For me personally, I would say number one, don't do anything that you're doing for a Zimbabwean market. I think that's the best thing, because the Zimbabwean market right now doesn't have the capacity to chew or to take that and give you the benefits that you want. What is the best thing to do? You create content, like Dumie said earlier. You're creating content that is still uniquely Zimbabwean, but can then be exported and be bought by international markets. Because I'll give an example of a movie that was done in Nigeria called Lionheart. I watched the movie. I wasn't impressed. But those people got $8 million for that movie. You know what I mean? A budget of $8 million US dollars for that movie. We in Zimbabwe can do the exact same thing. And based on what I've been seeing of late, and I'm not just saying this because Dumie is my friend, but from the time when Visa came out, I remember when we went to the launch, I was saying to Daniel, I'm like, Daniel, anything that comes out now after Visa has to go higher. It can't go lower because Visa has now set a standard to say, right, from this point, we can only go up. So to all the aspiring actors, producers, please start thinking business. Start thinking how to package yourself, package your product, and think bigger than Zimbabwe because the international market is waiting. Is waiting for Zimbabwean content. They're just waiting for us.
Okay, and Dumie?
This question of yours can get me emotional because it's so sensitive. Because I have moments where, obviously, in a country like Zimbabwe, I have moments where I'll be asking myself, am I really gonna make it in life? Like, is my future family secure? As much as you're trying your best to do what you can for this industry, but or this sector rather, but it's not really paying much fruit. But what I can say is, you know what, it's not gonna be easy, but just start. Like, don't have that mentality where you're like, I'll wait for the right time. I'll wait for the right moment. Because the only thing that will come to you is death. You know what I mean? You'll be waiting until Jesus comes, you know. Just start. No one can ignore a good story. Just start and collaborate. Identify friends and family that you know they can help you, and do your best. Collaborate. Don't be that one man team. I've been there. Remember long decision, bro.
Yeah, it was everything.
It was it was a school project, so yeah. But don't have too many positions. You can't be the director, producer, editor, actor, cinematographer, gaffer, because that's how you end up devaluing your product at the end of the day. Like, as a smart leader, a leader is smart enough to hire someone who can do the job better than them. Yeah. So be that kind of person. Collaborate, and collaboration is a mix of ideas, even from the makeup artist. If you're a director and you see the film is 100% your idea, you know that you failed as a director because you didn't collaborate, didn't listen to your team, didn't listen to the cinematographer, the actor, but what they had to say, and then also be like, okay, cool, let's try your idea. I think it'll work. So just start, collaborate, and stop treating filmmaking like a hobby, please. This is a business.
It's for fun.
This is a business. Like, this is what's supposed to put food on the table. This is what's supposed to take care of you and your family, your future children, and those. That's where my mindset is right now. Yeah. So whatever I do, whatever Tawanda and I do, Natasha does, those that are around me, whatever we do it with all our heart. We give it our best because we know the end goal at the end of the day. The international market for branding Zimbabwe to the world.
Absolutely. And when is the movie out?
The movie is going to be out in July, sometime in July, the premiere. That's when we're going to do it, but we're not yet too sure. We're still working on certain logistics for it to now be shown in theaters.
Jeez, because it's got so much hype. Like, I personally can't wait. Like,
I think now I'm actually a bit nervous because of the hype. Like, hey, sing a flopper again.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming through the studio and sharing your amazing talent and thoughts with us. We hope someone definitely was inspired by this conversation. And thank you so much for watching at home. Make sure you tune into the Breakfast Club every day right here on Asake. Make sure you join us again tomorrow. From myself, Fungai, goodbye.